What do the rich buy that the poor don't even know is available for purchase? Read by yours truly. Let's get started. Kidnapping insurance. Can confirm. I worked for a place where the CEO was very hands-on and would oftentimes fly to countries that were less than stable to sell the product. In case of kidnapping, we had insurance for him, for anyone else that traveled with him that might get grabbed, and contingency plans in place for what we needed to be doing and who to contact in case this happens. Private jet timeshares. For those not quite rich enough for their own private jet, or those rich people wanting to be a bit frugal. Time. All that crap you do. Commuting, grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning your house, waiting on hold, paying bills, all those chunks of your life that are eaten up by minutiae. Rich people buy out of all that routine garbage. Time is all you really get in your life. Rich people buy it back. Something they do that most people don't know about is buy entire libraries at once. My sister used to work at a bookstore and told me someone came in and wanted to furnish their library with a library size purchase of books. They just wanted cherry-picked bestsellers left to the discretion of the people working there. It sounded wild. Edit. This place is a wealth of knowledge, and I'm here for it. Had no idea you could buy books by the foot. What a bizarre idea. Some wealthy people also buy books as decoration, with no intent of reading most of them. They buy books from wholesalers by the linear foot, specifying how the books look on the shelves, size, color, material of spine, etc., without any regard for what the books actually are. They just need to fill wall space in library office rooms in their homes. If you're willing to fork out $35,000 for the player and $500 per showing, you can watch films that are currently in theaters in your own private home theater. Whoa, who would have thought a private showing is only twice as much as a normal movie ticket? Yeah, I mean, if you just skip the snack bar at the theater, it evens out to the same cost, basically. Landing 747s in small airports. I grew up around Lexington, Kentucky. The region is huge on horses, particularly thoroughbred horses. The entire city is surrounded by horse farms, and these farms breed some of the best racing horses in the world. The rich and famous will often come here to buy thoroughbreds to add to their breeding stock. One such person is a sheikh from Dubai, I think, who owns his own private 747. Now the local airport isn't rated for 747s, and it's not legal to land one there unless it's an emergency. The sheikh doesn't care though and lands his 747 there anyways. The airport fines him every time he does this, which he is totally fine with paying. I've been told that many of the upgrades to the airport over the years were almost entirely funded with money from those fines. Private boarding gate at certain airports, complete with showers, a spa, full bar, lounge, food, a bed, gym, sauna, etc. Total privacy. Your luggage is scanned and taken through security by a concierge, and you're driven to the plane in a BMW 8 Series. LAX has them now. Specialized household staff. When someone is truly mega rich, running their household takes the same complexity as running a small to mid-size company, and management is skilled and compensated accordingly. Don't think butler. Think head of operations at a luxury hotel. The staff that household managers oversee can be really specialized as well. For example, Larry Ellison has his own personal curator to oversee his collection of Asian art. They do things like advise on the purchase and sale of art in his collection, oversee storage and display of art housed on his property, oversee process of lending art for storage and display at museums. The curator will often have their own staff to conduct actual conservation work, art transport, art installation, etc. So if you've already got an in-house crew of 7 people focused on your art collection alone, imagine how big your entire household staff is. That's why you've got a household manager. Everyone knows about mega yachts, but the very rich also enjoy their own trains, or at the very least private super luxurious train cars. With their budgets, it isn't expensive to rent space on freight lines and an engine, assuming they don't own their own. Sometimes a group of friends will hook their private cars together and motor around a continent having a big party. Now I am imagining some fat cat in his luxury train car between a bunch of loads of coal and some hobos in an empty boxcar. Mr. Burns, this could take a good while. Why don't you get drunk and stumble around comically for my amusement? Smithers, I will be a one-man conga line, sir. Pet cloning. Ex-boss was getting his dog cloned for 100k. Oh, I've heard of this. There's a company in Texas that does it kinda regularly apparently now. 25k for a cat, 50k for a dog. It's something like a 1 to 2k deposit just for them to send your vet the kit to obtain biosamples and to store the material. You pay the rest of it whenever you're ready to clone your critter. Edit. The company is called Viagen if anyone's curious. Luxury ice cubes. Gloss Luxury Ice Co. produces perfectly square ice blocks for minimum dilution and maximum cooling. Hand carved and completely clear, these cubes are sold in bags of 50 and each bag costs $325. I had a buddy who hired a driver, got him to get a chauffeur's license, and then made sure his Jaguar was long enough to meet criteria as a limo, and then he could legally drink in the back seat. When I traveled with him internationally, someone met us at the door when we were dropped off, and they walked us to our plane. None of that customs security stuff occurred. In Iowa your vehicle doesn't have to meet length requirements. My husband worked with a guy whose wife got her chauffeur's license so he could drink in the backseat of their sedan. True love right here. True Iowa right there. Private performances with big name artists. I was on a yacht in the Virgin Islands and some mega yacht owner pretty close to us had Christina Aguilera flown in to perform for his guest on the mega yacht. We were close enough to see the performance, not close enough to pretend to be part of the party. A platinum retriever. And here I am with my bronze retriever. I'm so poor I can only afford a real retriever. Edit. I thought a platinum retriever was a platinum statue of a dog. Turns out there really is a retriever called Platinum. It's beautiful and I still can't afford it. I thought they were joking because of golden retrievers. A person to go to jail for you instead. This is a known phenomenon in Latin America but I imagine it happens in other places as well. Certainly amongst the accuser it happens. I knew a guy who did 8 years for his boss and got paid. I don't know. If you were rich, you could afford a person to fix that. College admissions for their kids. Gold pills that make your poop golden colored. I'm not even making it up. Look it up. Private banks. Rich people use banks like Chase, but they don't bank through regular branches. Instead they use Chase private banking. They never wait on hold for a banker to pick up the phone. They get same-day access to their deposits, lines of credit, etc. Deposit $3 million into your checking account and you'll get a call from your bank's private banking group. Dinosaurs and artifacts that have not been discovered by science. A huge problem with paleontology in general is that most new discoveries are locked up in private collections with no one being able to study them. At my sister's university, there was an Indian exchange student who grew up in a home full of servants. She often asked my sister for advice on very basic household chores, and apparently she had no idea how to wash clothes. My sister asked how she was even able to show up in clean clothes every day. Apparently she was very fashionable. She replied that she would just keep buying new sets of clothing, and only ever wore each set once before throwing it away. You would think that firefighting is a public service and paid for by the state with taxpayers' money. But what if your house is in the multi-millions price range? Enter private firefighters who reportedly saved Kanye West's $60 million house from the California wildfire last November. You can get a helicopter like it's an Uber. A friend of a friend flies helicopters in the NYC area and once flew Drake and his entourage from the city out to the Hamptons for a party that night. He had to go back and forth a few times to get everyone there. Drake ended up tipping him $5,000. Psychiatric help for their pets. My cat won't visit his shrink. I'm all, but you just sleep all day. You're depressed. And he's all, I don't need a shrink. You're the one who thinks I can fucking talk. Not rich myself, but happen to know about this. Medical services. If you are wealthy enough to pay cash up front, in some hospitals in the US, you can get very personalized concierge-style medical services if you plan ahead and call the right people. You don't wait to be seen. You don't wait in the other little room either once the nurse takes your blood pressure. You can even ask to see all your specialists in one day. They may or may not provide a lunch. You can get cloud seeding for your perfect rain-free wedding day for 100k. Companies inject silver iodine which causes the rain cloud to disperse without actually raining down, allowing your ceremony to stay dry. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge had it done for their wedding in 2012. It was also done prior to the opening of the Beijing Olympics.